My name is J.W. Riggs with WFHU, and today I have someone who I'm really excited to talk to. You may know him as Mr. McFeely, but I met him today as David Newell. Sorry, I mess up names occasionally. Okay. So thank you for doing this, and I appreciate you doing this. What brings you to Tennessee today?
Well, the Comic-Con. I'm here for today, Saturday, and tomorrow, which is the first time they've done 2 days of Comic-Con. And I'm here sitting here, and people are stopping by and doing autographs. And a lot of people, such as yourself, told me that they grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. You did, right?
Yes, sir, I did. Of course, for me, it was more reruns.
Yes.
Since I was born in '04, okay. So it would have been reruns. But I grew up with the DVDs because of my siblings, and I've always been inspired by the message of the show.
Well, that's good. Well, you know, Fred Rogers wrote all the shows himself. And I would say he wrote 98% of them because his background was in music, in theology, and in child development. So all those disciplines went into the show.
Right.
And I don't think anybody else could have written it for him because it was so personal to him. He saw himself as a communicator, not as an actor. He wasn't an actor, he was a communicator.
That's beautiful too, and you could tell like that's just an art form that he loved, and he really cared about what he was doing.
Oh, he did. He chose that profession. His father was in the business world. He actually ran a small industrial company.
Really?
And he was hoping that Fred would go into that company, but Fred did not. He wanted to go into television to help children because at that point, this was going back 40 years, television was how children were getting all the information, and that's why he went into it. And ironically, those programs that he did still exist today, and they're online.
Yes, sir.
PBSkids.org. If you're listening to this and you want to see Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, PBSkids.org. And on Pluto streaming.
Yes, I would say that's how my niece watches it. Is I have a 9-year-old niece who, even though, of course, years after the show was done and Daniel Tiger was already on at that point, she fell in love with the show, especially during COVID. She would watch it, and that's something that really kept her attention during that. So,
well, that's what it was designed for you. So you see, all of those shows still resonate to kids today.
And the message resonates too.
Yes.
It's something, no matter what generation you're in, we're going to go through similar things. As sadly, occasionally we'll repeat moments from the past.
Yes.
And so a lot of that still resonates.
It does, and it's one of the, I think, well, I'm a little prejudiced because I work for the show, but I think it's one of the best children's programs ever made. Now, it's designed for young children, and not for a 12-year-old, but for a preschooler and middle grades.
Right.
And that's the audience. But it's still around.
It still resonates with people. Now, let me ask you, how did you get to working with that company and meeting Fred Rogers? Tell me about that experience a little bit.
Well, back in 1967, I was about your age, and I was in London visiting my cousin. My cousin lived in London, and to make a long story short, I got a telegram from a person who knew Fred Rogers, and the telegram said that my friend who sent the telegram, gave Mr. Rogers my name. And that he set up an appointment with Mr. Rogers. When I got back, I met him, and he hired me. And I talked to him for about an hour, and he didn't mention anything about the show. He talked about what I did, and at the end of the hour, all of a sudden, he said, "When can you start?" And that's how I got the job, through a friend who knew him. But my friend, I have him to thank for it, because he's the one who went out of his way to set up the appointment. His name was Bob McCulley. He's not with us anymore, but I'll forever be thankful to him for getting me into Meet Mr. Rogers, and that's how I got involved.
Yes, sir. Now, just a little bit more about the show. What's your favorite moment from that time period?
Oh, well, you know, here today at the Comic-Con, there is an actor by the name of Lou Ferrigno.
Yes, sir. The Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk, and we went to the set of the Incredible Hulk, and we filmed them doing their show.
That's really cool.
To show children that it was pretend, because it scared, well, as a matter of fact, my daughter, when she was 3 years old, turned the TV on. That's when you could turn televisions on. And the Hulk happened to be on, and it scared her. She had nightmares that's not designed for a 3-year-old.
Right.
So to make a long story short, I said, do you think, to Fred, you could write a script about visiting Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby and showing children that it's pretend?
Yeah.
And it would take the scariness out of it and keep the enjoyment. And we did. So that was one of the high points of working, but there are many others too.
Now, tell me a little bit more. For one thing, we'll talk about what you've done since the show, but now tell me a little bit more about your friendship with Fred Rogers.
We were good friends. Off camera, we would, our families would have dinner together. His wife and my wife would get together on Saturday evenings, and he had a summer home in Massachusetts on the water, and he let us borrow it for when he wasn't there. So he was a very generous, kind man, and one of the kindest persons I've ever met, and genuinely interested in people and children and doing good. And he was also, I think we've talked about this, he was also a minister.
Yes, sir.
And I think that helped a lot in his making the program. He didn't use his religious beliefs on the program. He didn't preach on the program.
But you saw it through his actions.
In values. He talked about values, yes. And that's what his studies of religion did for him. It gave him those values that pertain to anybody. So, but to sum that up, he was a wonderful person and a good friend.
That's fantastic. Now, one more question. Just what have you done since the show? Is there any project that you would like to talk about here?
Yeah, well, one of the things I'm doing is writing a book about my years working with the neighborhood. I'm not done with it by any means, but I go, and that's why some of these Comic-Cons give me some more material so I can talk about. I get a lot of feedback like yourself and the people who grew up with the program, and I can use some of those stories. I did that, but I also now visit. I do more as me, David Newell, and talk about the program. I go out and give talks to I'd say, clubs and organizations and schools, talk about my years at the neighborhood, because it's still on.
Yes, yeah,
and
it's still
I
going.
want people to know that too, that people who have young children, they can still see it. And it resonates now as it did back when we first made it. So I'm doing a lot of my time doing that. Plus, I do traveling doing that too. So I enjoy. So I get traveling in there too, which is one of my favorite things to do. I've never been to this part of Tennessee before.
Well,
so
welcome.
Here I am, visiting your neighborhood.
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you for this interview. The show is something that it goes all the way back to my parents' childhood. They were born in the late 60s, and when I said that you would be at the Comic-Con, they thought that was fantastic, and so did my siblings. So just thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and tell your family And your brothers and sisters?
Yes, sir.
And I said hello.
Brother and sister. Yes, sir.
A sister, yeah.
Yes, a brother and a sister.
Brother and
yes, sir.
sister. What are their names?
Kelly and Don Allen.
Hello, Kelly and Don Allen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I know how to finish the interview.
Yes, sir. Let's
If
do it.
I count to 3, we're both going to say speedy delivery, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Speedy delivery.